Hello everybody, it's Erin.scott here again, and this morning we are going to do a tutorial for my friends and neighbors on the Baofeng handheld radio that we use to communicate with each other. I'm going to go over two parts, and I'm going to make it as brief and simple as possible to try and keep confusion down. But the first part is going to be in programming and how we program the radio itself via the software that you hook to the computer with, a USB port. So the first thing you've got to know is all of these different versions that are out there, the different models of radios, all can be programmed with the same software, and it is the Chirp software. It's a very simple basic program, and it can be downloaded, and you will want to check to see if your particular model is provided for. They are updating their program generally on an as-needed basis due to problems or issues or new equipment. Whatever they encounter, they'll do an update to their software. Very good stuff, very simple to use. Baofeng does put out software that you can buy. I have the disc, but this is freeware that you can download, and it's open source. It's Chirp, and it works really well. So with that said, the first thing you're going to need is the USB cable that comes, or doesn't come with the radio, but you can purchase, and it is about $9-10 depending upon who you get it from on eBay. You'll take your radio and you'll plug it in to the microphone speaker plug. See if I can do this one-handed. There we go. There we go. And just like where the microphone speaker plugs in there, you see, we'll do it here, and then we're going to turn it on. And because, oops, let's get the keyboard out of the way here. Because it's plugged in, you're not going to hear its standard noise that it makes, telling you whether you're in channel mode or in frequency mode. Now, once it's plugged in, we're going to keep these steps as simple as possible. Once you've downloaded and installed the software, this is what you'll be looking at. You set yourself up a folder to contain whichever files you wish to save. This radio that we've already done has been programmed, but we're going to show you the steps in order to do it. I've had to stumble my way through this because it was not explained at the procedure for doing that. But the very first step you're going to do once you've connected is you're going to download the program or the programming file that is already on your radio. So we're going to do that, and you're going to have to make sure that your COM port is the correct one for whichever COM port, US port that you're connected to is correct. It takes a little poking around, maybe a little trial and error to plug from that one to maybe these on this side, or wherever your COM ports are on your computer. Get the COM port selected properly. This Chirp software also offers programming for other brands and models, but we're going to use the Baofeng, and then Baofeng has different models, and we're going to use the UV5R because that generally works with all the different UV models. Okay, all of them, the ones that I've used, it has worked just fine. I did have to download a different version for the BF-F8 HP, the tri-power radio, but you can see there are different versions of the radio that Baofeng offers, and you'll want the UV5R. So once you've got those things set, you're going to click OK, and it's going to give you a warning that this is an experimental software, and they're not responsible for anything that happens, although nothing has been harmed. You can read that yourself. Leave this, although you can click on don't show me that message again. I'll leave it, and I go yes, and then it starts to clone. And oops, error has occurred. Let's try it one more time. Sometimes the procedures they're not exactly in the right order.
Channel mode
Don't seem to work. So there we go. Make sure the plug's in there. Let's try it one more time. Click download. Okay. Yes. There we go. Okay. You gotta turn your radio on without being plugged in. There's a misstep. See? So we want to make sure we're at the right step. So we've cloned it, or we've pulled the file down, and you can see there is the list of channels that are on the radio. And what you're going to see here is there's a lot of different variables. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do is talk about which variables you'll be concerned with. For those of you who are ham operators and ham licenses, you will understand what these are about. I do not need to explain them to you. For those of you who will be using these radios without a ham license but want to use them for the public frequencies, which we use in our community here, this is the most important part for you. These frequencies, the FRS frequencies, down to the GMRS frequencies, and let me scroll down here, bringing it on up. I know it's not easy to see this. The GMRS through the MURS frequencies are your public frequencies that you can use without a license on these radios. They have been programmed in here, and I'm going to scroll back up to the top so that we can begin. They have been programmed in here in accordance with the order that you would find them on your standard bubble pack radios, your hunting radios, your 22 channel radios that you get at the sporting goods shop, or the little family service, family radio service radios, the little Radio Shack guys that you can work with. So these radios work with those frequencies, and that's what we're going to look at real quick. All of these frequencies for FRS, and you can pause this to get the information down, and the GMRS frequencies are available on Wikipedia. You can go there, or you can just pause this and jot these down. They will have to be in accordance with the tones necessary for receiving and transmitting, and you can see these. I'll go through them again here, and then we'll scroll up. We're going up to see the GMRS and the MURS frequencies. And then we go on to some other frequencies that are calibrated for this area. Alright, that's pretty simple. You got that information that can be hand entered here. You can hand enter these frequencies using the keypad and the process that is explained within the manual. However, due to the time that it takes and the likelihood that you push a key on here incorrectly and having to fix it. I started doing that, and it's a little challenging. I would recommend get your computer, your laptop, download this software, and do it here. It's set up like an Excel spreadsheet, and this is the way you will find it less frustrating to do. And once you get the hang of it, it's pretty easy. And with the different settings, we'll go through those next. Okay, for most of this, you're going to leave these settings pretty much alone. And you can see power level on the right hand side. Let me scroll from right to left, or left to right I should say. And then the skip setting that has an S there. These are the main settings that you're going to be interested for your FRS and your GMRS frequencies. And after that, there's not much you're going to concern yourself with unless you're a ham or ham license at this current time. Once things change, you may wish to have this programming for the ham frequencies and or the emergency frequencies. So once you've got all your edits done in your file for the public frequencies that you're going to use on this radio, you are going to, for one, do a save as, and then it gives you an option, and you can name the file, and you can see all the different file types I've used with different radios and different folks that I programmed for. You save it, and it's an image file, an IMG, that you'll save it as. Once you've saved it so that you have it to come back to, you got your basic file that you're going to continue to program. Once you've done all the editing in this one file and you've saved it, then you can copy that file to the next radio. You do not have to do this over again. For all the radios that I've programmed, I edited this this spreadsheet format file one time to get everything in it that I needed, and then all I've had to do is import this file into the radio. So we'll go through that process. So we go up to once we've downloaded, we'll go back to this right here, import from data source. Oops. Sorry, wrong import. Import from here, and you click on that import, and then I'm going to go down to my file type, and I want to get the image files, and then I'm going to go up to my main file, which is that one. Click open, and then there it goes. It asks you to do a check, and I simply OK it, and then it imports over top of that. Now there is a little bit of difference between this file and the one that I had on it for whatever reason, because it brought in NOAA. That's the National Oceanic and Atmospheric. That's your weather channel. So you know, a lot of emergency radios have this frequency programmed into it, and we have it here as well. So we've got our new file that is edited, and we'll scroll down real quick to some of the channels. Get in here, and there are several ham frequencies, some of the VHF and the UHF frequencies going through here. They are applicable, if I can do this without twisting my tongue, to this local area. If you're going to want to have the ham frequencies, talk to a local ham person for maybe getting a list of those frequencies that you can monitor. Now, you can set up via this option here whether to transmit or not to transmit. You'll also have to have the offset frequency if it is a repeater. The ability to transmit or not transmit is important, because you're going to see as we go down, pull it all the way down here to the column that says duplex. As I get down to some frequencies where I do not want to transmit on, those are my local emergencies, the police, the fire, the different local frequencies that you would normally have in a scanner for listening to emergencies or information that's being relayed through the public offices, your sheriff's department, your ambulances, and all of that. So we have this set up so that it's off. You cannot transmit, and as you see, the difference in this other column, the skip column, we don't have an S on it to skip. So we will talk about how you turn these handheld radios into mini scanners when you need to listen to see if there's emergencies that are taking place in your area that may be of concern to you. So these frequencies for the emergencies are something you will have to get for your local area. For those of us around us in our valley here, you will either contact me or contact one of the other hams and have them set this up so that you can listen in to any of the ham frequencies and or emergency frequencies, but not transmit. There is no license required to listen. You can listen all you want to without needing a license, but if you go to transmit over these frequencies, you are required to have a license. So you get all your settings the way you want for your radio, for your local frequencies that are set for your clubs, your communication, and your emergency channels, and then enter them in, and then of course, like I said, save the file, and then we're going to go up here to put it back on the radio. We're going to upload it back to the radio. Now it already sees that connection because we've done the download, so all we have to do is click OK and yes, and then it is cloning back up, and at the same time you see the little light flash in there, the little green light on the radio that says it's receiving. Very simple for using the Chirp software. Like I said, your frequencies for your public frequencies are set up and can be set up and found from the online Wikipedia website will do just fine to get those frequencies set up. Once you get those programmed in, you now have the ability to use this with all other public frequency radios, and then with cooperation with some of your ham community, you will be able to use this radio to tune in when the time comes for emergency purposes that you may wish to use this radio for. And that's the basics for basically programming this thing. The next part we will do will discuss the programs and the settings specifically on the radio, and how to use the radio itself for communicating within your community and for using it as a scanner. So thanks, and we'll come back in just a minute.